Hi everyone, it's Casey Williams. About a decade ago, General Motors was one of the very first automakers to build a full-size three-row crossover. We're talking about cars like the GMC Acadia, the Buick Enclave, the Saturn Outlook, and then at the end of that run, the Chevy Traverse. Well, here we are all these years later, and there are so many other manufacturers offering three-row crossovers, and it's time for General Motors to do a redesign. Did they take the Traverse in the direction of, more of an SUV look, or do they keep the streamlined look of the old one? And what they decided to do is to make it look more like a mini Tahoe than a blown-up minivan. And I think for most customers, it's going to be exactly what they want. Let's go take a look at the brand new Traverse and see what you think of it. I like the new design quite a bit. Again, I think the old one looked more like a blown-up minivan than a true SUV or a crossover, and I think this styling's a lot more acceptable today. It just looks a little more grown up to me. But it's a Chevrolet, absolutely. You have the twin-port grille, big emblem in the middle. And while the hood isn't quite as slanted as the old vehicle, it's still very streamlined. You see the front fascia comes way down to help improve aerodynamics. That does help improve fuel economy. HID headlamps. Come around the side. And these wheels that look like they're not all that big are actually 20-inch out-of-the-way wheels. It's just a very tall, very large vehicle. I like some of this fender sculpting. I like this crease down the side. It looks very crisp, looks very tailored. But you also get a little bit of this kind of look, the indentation there that really ties it to other Chevrolets like the Equinox and the Malibu. But overall, it looks very upscale. Got this line that comes up, again, ties it to other Chevrolets. Definitely has a family look to it. Wraparound rear window, as the other GM crossovers had for many years. And when you look at this, it actually kind of looks and feels even a little bit smaller than the vehicle replaces. But when you park this next to the old one, they look every bit the same size. So it's certainly room in your car. Come around the back, again, the wraparound tail lamps, the four lamps, kind of the traditional again with the Malibu, Cruise, Traverse lately, new Traverse and Equinox. Power hatch. And as you can see, it's got 3 rows, back seats fold down, easy to pull back up, and easy to get, in this case, 6 people in there very comfortably, up to 7 if you really have to. Well, it kind of feels like you're opening the hood of a Tahoe. I mean, you're kind of up tall. But once you see what's inside, it's anything but. There's a 3.6-liter V6, generates 310 horsepower. That's connected to a new 9-speed automatic transmission. So that really helps your fuel economy. This also has the auto stop-start function, which pauses at a rest. You can't turn it off. And I have to admit, it really does annoy me. I really don't like the stop-start systems. But with a 9-speed automatic, start-stop, and this is front-wheel drive, you get 18 miles per gallon in the city, 27 miles per gallon on the highway. So for a full-size 3-row crossover, 27 on the highway is really pretty decent. And it has plenty of power, 310 horsepower. That's enough to move this thing down the road very, very easily. Well, welcome to the interior of the brand new Chevy Traverse. I think the designers did a pretty good job in here as well. They gave it more of a look at the General Motors trucks than the crossovers. And to me, it just feels a little more upscale and just feels a little bigger and just a little tougher than the old one did. It really centers around the brand new touchscreen. It's pretty easy to navigate. You've got navigation, radio, media controls down below. And again, for me, it's nice. A couple of things I wish they would improve. You've got direct tuning for the radio stations, and you got a volume knob down below. But I would really appreciate if they had a tuning knob as well. You can tune here, but a knob would be nice. Press a button. It's got a little garage storage back here. You can put your smartphone in, plug it in directly there if you want to charge it, or to connect it with a USB port. I think it's pretty clever. Also have Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto connectivity. So you're pretty much the full range there. The vehicle does have 4G Wi-Fi, so you can work on the internet, upload photos, write stories, as I like to do when I'm traveling quite a bit. You do that on the road, provided somebody else is driving. Dual zone automatic climate controls in the rear as well. And our vehicle has the twin captain chairs in the back, which I think are really nice. Again, with their own climate controls. I think it works out very, very well. And just some other things I think, they've done well and not so well. Some of the upscale appearances of it, everything's stitched. And again, heated leather seats here. We've got the Bose audio system, stitch coverings here, soft touch, satin aluminum, kind of the piano black finish here. I think that looks really nice. But when you tap just a little bit harder, you start, a little more of this kind of stuff. A lot of hard plastic in here. And for a vehicle that's, not an inexpensive car, I think that starts to feel just a little bit cheap. So I think they, if this was padded just a little bit, I think it'd be much nicer. But overall, it's a pretty nice place to be. And I think 4 passengers aboard, plenty of space. You get 6 in here, reasonably comfortable. But Ford definitely, you can drive cross country and have your own space and be very nice. Well, the full-size crossover market has changed considerably since General Motors first unveiled their vehicles a decade ago. You have so many competitors now. Even the latest ones, the VW Atlas, you have the brand new Subaru Ascent coming, the Ford Explorer keeps getting redesigned, the Dodge Durango, Honda Pilot, Toyota Highlander, and I'm sure I'm missing many, many more. But that's a really tough market. So Chevrolet really had to change this vehicle to keep it competitive. I think the styling is dead on. I think the interior space is dead on. Plenty of performance. I think the 27 miles per gallon highway, I think most customers will like a lot. But there's a counter side to that. Some of the cheap interior plastics, this one only has one auto down window. I mean, we're kind of nitpicking here, but at a certain price point and a certain level, you kind of expect everything to be nearly perfect. I think most customers like this very, very much. But again, it's a pretty tough market out there. So let's talk about pricing. You can buy a Traverse for just under $30,000. This one, as it's equipped, $44,185. Again, you start in the mid $40,000 range, you really need to bring your A game. And this car is pretty close. So next time we'll have another fun car, and until then, storm forward.